Aloha. I said aloha. I am Phoenix Moore, and today I'm here because I intend to share what's in my heart. This experience will both surprise and delight the both of us. Delight because I am delighted to be here, and I intend for you to be delighted as well. And surprise because I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I just decided that I would like to share parts of myself that I haven't previously shared, as I'm discovering parts of myself that I hadn't previously discovered. I am honored to be here. The first thing I'm going to start off by doing is slowing down my own breathing. I'm going to check in with myself and be mindful about how I feel, because how I feel is important. As a matter of fact, how we all feel is important. I feel a little bit nervous, mostly excited. I feel relaxed and satisfied. I had a delicious breakfast. I hydrated myself properly, moved my body around, had some delicious coffee, which I appreciate very much. And now I am here in this present moment, standing here in front of you all with a mic in my hand. Took a nice shower. I don't know if I mentioned that part. That's always pleasant. So today I want to start off by sharing appreciation for this life experience. That's the first thing I want to start off by doing. I want to just be thankful for being alive, because that's a big deal. I mean, everybody mostly has been introduced to the concept of statistics and the probability that it takes for things to happen in the manner that it does. That is miraculous by itself. So just to be here and alive at this time and space is outstanding. And I'm sure I'll be sharing more about that later, but to be here alive now is the most incredible. The next thing I want to say is that God is the greatest. That really is the first, honestly. God is the absolute greatest. God is the foundation of which this entire experience is possible. And we have the blessed honor of being eternally tethered to this source, which is massive when it comes to being replenished in this life experience. So shout out to our Creator, the source of all things, infinite intelligence, God force, life force, energy, whatever you intend to refer to the source of your well-beating heart is your business. But I don't know about anybody else, but I don't wind my own back up at night. I just lay down and close my eyes, and I just trust that I'm going to wake up the next day. And so far it's been working out pretty great. So God is the greatest. And we are fortunate to be alive right now. I mean, there are going to be, well, based off of what we have access to in terms of information and knowledge, there's a divine blueprint for how this universe works. And we've used a lot of tools and resources in science to show us how things are interconnected. And we have the often overlooked honor of witnessing the divine blueprints unfold on many, many levels in many areas and aspects. And there's things that we just might not have considered the divinity in which we're witnessing, like flowers and trees and things that grow. They have a seed inside of the fruit, the vegetable, whatever. It has an ability to regenerate and respawn itself time and time again based off of an infinite intelligent input into the seed. And we put it in the ground and we trust it's going to grow. We're like, oh, that's going to be fine. 3 to 5 weeks, wonderful. And then off we go. And we water it and nurture it and speak lovingly to it. And we have, again, we can watch it bloom right before our eyes. And that's nature. That's all throughout nature. And as I've spent more time in nature, I've really have been, just basking, basking in the wonder of what I'm experiencing. Flowers, beautiful flowers of all varieties, different names. And they're endless. They're infinite. And I just have to sit back at that and think, wow, that's pretty incredible. And trees and insects and anyway, I could spend all the time just really revisiting and bathing myself in that delightful, wonderful, happy, affirming experience. So there's divinity all around. Divine, beautiful, perfect, amazing, never-ending, eternally abundant, always growing, always spawning new life, new life, new life, new life. Diversity, there's so much variety, there's endless varieties. And that's just on land. Go figure, right? So, look up in the sky, same thing. Chicken wing, same thing. You look down in the ocean, same thing. All of this beautiful, wonderful, perfectly balanced ecology of nature living naturally. And it is glorious to watch, and it is inspiring to see. And I really think that I'm glad I could never unsee that or never unexperience that. I am aware of those things. And now that I'm aware and I'm open and receptive, I get a chance to delight myself with the observance and acknowledgement of all things around that is good, right, true, beautiful, and wonderful, inspiring with immense opportunity for eternally growing and expanding. And we're identifying new things each day. And this immediacy of which we're able to have our questions answered, outrageous. That's faster than any fiber optic. It's instant. And to recognize that within our experience, a lot of times humans overlook the fact that we are too a part of nature. And we can afford to take the time to root ourselves, plant ourselves in the spirit of God's word. And when I refer to God's word, I mean the living word. I mean the inspiration that hits your heart and resonates with you as truth. God's word is highly personalized. God's word is not the most liked tweet. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love, the angel affirmation memes, and I love those things. I do. I love the opportunity to experience what is aligned for me, because I know for sure that this is brand new in my world. I know for sure that the communication that I'm receiving is brand new. And there are so many of us who are starting to experience what it's like to life with direct communication from our higher selves, and direct communication from source, and direct communication from our ancestors, and direct communication from infinite intelligence, that we have the ability to ask the question with the knowing we will get the answer, because when you ask, it is given. You ask the question, and with the knowing that you're going to get the answer, you receive the answer. And I've experienced that enough times to recognize that this is not my imagination. This is real, because I've considered what it's like to live a life without acknowledging and honoring my connection to a higher power, a higher source. That the consciousness that I'm currently experiencing is only a small fraction, and it depends, even the size of the fraction varies based off of how open your mind is to understanding new concepts, understanding things, and diving in and chewing up things that's not tangible, because those things matter. So like I said, we are at the precipice of a massive shift in human consciousness that has been occurring over some time, but I can only say for myself that I'm experiencing it in a way that I never imagined was possible. And I just think that this is the answer for everyone. And that's not to say that, hey, this is a blueprint, this is what you need to do to get there. Specifically, here are these steps, these are the things you need to avoid, you just need to make these. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is honoring the connection to source, to God, whatever you honor in terms of what's keeping your heart beating, your body processing and operating in a self-sustaining manner. Because you definitely don't have to take out your own trash. You have a waste removal system. You have plumbing. You have all the things that is a self-sustaining body here. Infinite intelligence. Instant manifestation. I'm not intending to do these things. I do it because I want to. That's what I feel like doing right now. I just feel like moving my body. This is God force energy flowing through me. And honestly, dancing is the only time I really feel, not the only time, but one of the only, not the only time, but I know when I'm dancing and I allow my body to just move, that's one of my most enjoyable activities. It's like I know for sure that I'm making a decision to allow this thing to happen, because I'm definitely not planning it. I'm not planning this out. This is not something I wrote out in terms of a 5-year goal or even a 2-week goal. I do it now because I love it now and it feels great now. I allow the energy to flow through me now. I really feel alive when I'm dancing. So that's the part. At any rate, honoring the connection allows it to grow and manifest in your life, that you recognize you're not alone. You never have been, you never will be. It doesn't work that way. This is not Castaway. Unless we want to just make a friend out of a volleyball, that's our business. Because free will, you have the ability if you want to, not have any friends and not have any connections and be on an island by yourself and struggle and thug it out and eat coconuts every day. Coconuts are great for you, don't get me wrong. But if you want to be out there on your own, God bless you and best wishes, because it's hard out there. Seriously, it's difficult when you're out there struggling and raggedly trying to figure out life with what you perceive to be no guidance, when all along the guidance is right in here. And it's easily accessible through a little known avenue called silence. Little silence. Through quiet. That's you gotta listen. You ask the question. Well, you can't help but ask questions. Even through your frustrations, you're asking questions. Either throughout your emotional experience, you're asking questions constantly. But if you really want the answer, you have to listen and be quiet and be with yourself and basically shut out all of the outside influences and stimuli. You got to be willing to just block that out for a while, because it's influencing what you're thinking about yourself, but you're not going to yourself to hear proper information. You're looking around like, wow, this is crazy. Oh my God, we are in trouble. This earth is, we are really screwed. This is bad. Oh my God. When as vibrational beings, because everything is energy, we're all made up of the same materials. Shout out to Pharrell, because he be telling everything. He be putting us on game in his songs. He be trying to put us on. I be listening like, holy snap. Wow, that's nuts. And before him, honestly, the truth has always been being aired. Is always being aired. Earth, Wind, and Fire, Parliament. Trust me. Anyway, I can spend the whole time on this alone, but we're all made up of the same materials. We're vibrational beings. We're energetic beings, and we're connected to and a part of a great source of energy, and that means a lot. Taking the time to know and accept that means a lot. It has the potential to mean so much in your life experience, that you're not listening to what the rest of the world is saying is happening. Because since we're vibrational beings and we're energetic beings, and we emit these frequencies, and we can tune ourselves to this channel or wave of thought. We can tune ourselves to whatever channel we want. This is like interstellar cable. That's from Rick and Morty. I do watch TV. Those things are very entertaining, interesting, and thought-provoking. Anyway, interstellar cable, where you can turn your attention to any channel you want in this whole universe. And if you have these outlets that are kind of twiddling your dials, like the news, that's like, oh, you better watch out, or you're gonna die. You're gonna die, or you're just watch your shootings outside. They're gonna kill you. Watch out, it's dangerous. In other news, this person died, and you're gonna be careful because you want to protect, you want to defend yourself. You want to make sure that you don't make sure it doesn't happen to you. Let me tell you about the war. Blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, they're like, holy smokes. This is terrible. This world is just terrible. I don't really have any choices. I have to sit here and just suffer with my anxiety and be afraid. I don't want to make no new friends, no, not gonna do it. They'll stab you in the back. First chance they get, they're gonna get you. You know, and you kind of just live in this perpetual, cycle of anxiety and fear, and defensive, everything we're experiencing here is based off of our own perception. And it will make sense for me that I will want to straighten out mine today. Like, let me make sure that I'm receiving from the proper channel, because if I take all of these other outlets in terms of the channels that I have to observe, then I would really think I'm screwed. I would be like, man, why did I come to this crappy world? They like the earth is such a terrible place to be. And don't get me started, because you don't want to live in that country. You don't want to live in that town. No, you don't. You don't want to live there. Everybody can choose what they want to choose. You can live where you want to live. I relocated to Hawaii from Philadelphia, whole East Coast. That's a big jump. It's a huge jump, but I moved here because I love the way it feels all day, every day. I love nature. I love the beauty, and I'll go skiing when I get hot. When I'm tired and I want to break from the heat, I know where to go. I know exactly where to go. I can go have that experience too, but the energy here feels amazing. And we have the ability to help ourselves by adjusting our point of focus, thereby adjusting our point of attraction for what we're experiencing on a day-to-day basis. People say, I'll believe it when I see it, but it's actually in reverse. You'll never see it if you don't believe it. You'll never ever see something you don't believe. But in this reality, people are enamored with what has manifested already, what's been created that I can prove that it can be created, versus recognizing that the intention to create is enough. We are creators. We are fractal portions of God, source energy. We're created in God's image and likeness. And, however people want to talk about, oh, Jesus, he wasn't this, he was that, da da da. Who cares? Who cares? It's an uplifting, inspiring, example of an energetic expression of unparalleled peace and love and good intentions and healing. And why would you want to pick a fight with that? Who cares? It doesn't matter what the person. If it was okay, so what? It was a story. It's encoded. It's okay. All right. Well, congratulations. The fact that exists creates infinite potential for whatever else you'd like to platform, use that as a platform to build from. Whether it's a church, a business, a community, a village, whatever you want to do, it's supported, by aligning your energy and recognizing you're, connected to something greater. And I'm gonna tell you something. Should I never gave you? I'm saying, thank you, universe, for this time-space reality. Because there are things that's happening that people don't like, and we don't have to like it. We don't have to agree with it, but you also don't have to eat it. No matter which senses you're using to experience something here, you're still choosing to ingest it. So if you're choosing these things that's scaring the crap out of you, and you're choosing these, relationships that feel horrible, and you're choosing these things that just go against your natural order, showing up for a corporation for an entity when you're halfway sick and dying is backwards. We come first. Sovereignty is our birthright. We honor ourselves as the God forces that we are. Sparks, whatever you want to. I'm not God. I'm not. Okay, well, put yourself aside for a second and recognize that you are your Father's child. So, to be that as it may, do what you want with it. Congratulations. You can go forth and achieve this great legacy for yourself, or you can just shrink. shrink back and do nothing. But learning this information about who we are, who we're connected to, is not only improving my relationship with myself, but it's helping me to improve my relationship with my entire life. My friends, my family, my pets. I'm still working on the pets because they like to pee in the house no matter what. Take them outside or not, they're going to pee sometimes. And anyway, so it's helping me to adjust my focus and my lens for how I'm choosing to view the world. Number one, I'm not taking no general consensus about this universe because we all are experiencing our own unique life unfolding here, no matter if we're sitting next to somebody or married to the person or we birthed the person or we're related. However it is that we are related to people is a wonderful deal, but you only have your own consciousness. Therefore, you can only perceive your own experience. And any attempt to try to perceive somebody else's experience, it leaves you with one arm, one leg, tied behind your back, choose whatever one you want, blindfolded, with earmuffs on because you didn't walk in their shoes for real. You only seeing a snapshot of what you see. You don't really know. So it would behoove us to just mind our own business, tend to our own garden, tend to our own universe, tend to our own minds. Those are the only things we really have any type of influence and control over. So tending to your own self, not, oh, look at this person, oh, da, 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 da. This society has most people so externally focused that they're having a hard time, I'm sure, as understanding who they really are in this world, knowing something isn't quite right, because that's what being tethered to this source entitles you to, is your emotions. So something's not quite right, it's off. Something's off about this. And, you know it. But if you're like, oh, wow, war, you'll miss the whole thing. You'll miss it. I'm so thankful I did not miss the forest for the trees this life, because I almost did. And it's like being a grown up and still feeling like you're subjected to peer pressure is just ludicrous. Ludicrous. Okay. Just want to see if he's going. Anyway, but it's ludicrous. It's like, what do you expect? If you don't direct yourself, then you're kind of like subject to wherever is pulling you. It's just like, this demanding attention. This world, the way it's designed and the way that people are trained to conduct themselves in a world, a lot of times it leads to burnout. It just leads to a straight up burnout, and it's or just an endless cycle of repetition. How people kind of just resolve themselves that they're just gonna work the next 45 years, and then after that, I'm gonna love my life. I mean, I can't think of a greater transgression that you would sacrifice the sacred being that you are if you don't love what you're doing and you are just drudging every day. It's like, oh God, to completely agree, resigning to abuse yourself, dishonor yourself for the next 30 years so that you can get a reward that's this hustle is outrageous. We get hustled. We are getting hustled, bro. And I can laugh because it's funny. It's funny to me. I don't care. It's funny to me now. It's funny. And it's like, they even teach us about slavery. And then we can't even see that we're the ones enslaved. Because most of us did not know what we deserved from the beginning. We just kind of got shuffled in like, okay, go ahead, status quo, this is where you from. Oh, you black and a woman, you are in big trouble now. You'll never make as much. It's nuts. It's nuts. And then it's like we celebrate people who we perceive, because they're on this elevated stage, people who we perceive as having made it through the glass ceiling when that glass ceiling doesn't even exist. Nothing is a disadvantage here, because you can always decide. You can always choose something different, a different experience, a different thought, a different location, a different whatever. It's like pick one. The world is your oyster. Open it up and see whatever wonderful treasures, and then go and do that and be happy about it. But to delay your gratification about life and spend it, like, one of the greatest gifts our Creator ever endowed us with is joy. Like I said, sovereignty and freedom is our birthright. Expansion is going to happen because that's just the nature of things. Okay, but joy is our gift. Happiness, joy, pleasure. And it's like, it's funny because we get frustrated with our own children where we're doing all these things to make them happy, and they're still like, I can't stand you, I hate you, I'm so mad. You're like, what? I just did all this stuff to make you happy, and you stamping around. You're not even acknowledging what's fun ahead of you because you are focused on this one thing that's making you so upset. And then as a parent, we're like, Dad, man, I really wanted you to have a great time. That's all. I really wanted you to have fun. And, it's just, we really do want those things. I mean, those emotions we have to recognize also. It's not our responsibility to have, emotional contributions to other people, our children's, experience. They're going to do what they're doing, and they have the right to have that experience. You don't know what that's about, what it'll mean for them later on, how they're processing through their emotions. It's best to just love them and stay out of their way. Give them healthy structure, but whatever you want to do to help them along in this life, to help themselves learn how to be confident, express themselves, enjoy different experiences, great. But let them experience their own life. But I can imagine in terms of how it, even though we're not offending anybody when we're not having a good time, because that's not how God works. That's not how infinite intelligence works. I don't believe that anyway. I don't believe that God is like these. That's all I did for them. That's how they gonna act. I don't really think that's how it goes. But don't you want to have a nice time? Don't you want to have a good life? Don't you want to see the possibilities and potential for how great it can get for you? Don't you want to know what's on the other side of door number 1 through infinite? Don't you want to know how many surprises and delights are there? Don't you want to know that if something appears to go wrong in your life, it's not because you're good? You got angels, you got whatever, earth angels, spirit guides, whatever you identify, because we all get a chance to write our own key of what this means to us. That's the value of being your own creator, that you get to assign the value and meaning for everything that you see. When some people see rainbows, they're like, oh, it must be raining on the other side. And then some people see rainbows, they're like, yeah, that's the promise. We got this. Hey, rainbow, And some people like, oh, rainbow, that's when the clouds, they drop water and sunlight, but it's none of nobody's business when the experience is, but you the one that get to do that. Some people have very, very significant meanings, and that's the thing about life. You can either let it sail by accepting everybody else's definitions, by looking at the news and watching the statistics and seeing how the market is currently doing and what the projections are. You can do all of that stuff and completely be in that channel, because nothing is wrong. That's the way you want to spend your time. It's up to you. But personally, I want a happy, joyful, outrageous, wonderful life experience where I am loved and safe and protected, where I know that no matter what's happening in my life, it's all good because every time I wake up and my heart is still beating, obviously I have a purpose. And even going, to align with nature, understanding that just like nature has a divine plan before it blooms into manifestation on a physical level, I too have, and we too, us too, R two, you two, D two, everybody has had a divine plan instilled within their seed before they manifested on this physical reality in this time and space. And it's like, if you don't want to believe that, that's okay. That is all right. I just want to keep saying that because I'll be finding myself on the other side sometimes. And it's okay. No matter where you are, it's all good. But I really know for sure that if I want to see this, I have to believe it first. So I spend time, and I have been spending time looking for evidence of these truths. My life has taken a series of turns that I could never have foreseen based off of what I thought I knew about myself for my entire life. I surprised myself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, let's get past that though, because, it is what it is. Life is going to give you an opportunity to actually get where you want to be, but it cannot just spring forth into physical without it first being instilled on a deep spiritual, soul level, that you accept these things. You've looked for enough evidence, and I've been looking for evidence of my worthiness. Like, okay, universe, if I'm so worthy, I want to see it. Show me how worthy I am. I want to know. And when I start asking the question, the answers come pouring in. That's just what I've experienced. So, I know that we all have the same connection to the same source, and we all have the equal, no matter what the rest of society tells you, because you're Asian, because you're black, because you was born in this state, you went to this college, you didn't go, you don't have this experience, you have this degree, but you don't, the credentials, the certificate, you don't, whatever. Those things are not real obstacles. Those are just what people say. And it's almost like a game to see if you can beat out that raggedy ideology. That's the kind of, I like to play it as a game now. Like, okay, I see this raggedy ideology that's trying to pretend like I have some limitations, when I don't. None of us do. That's all a farce. So, it's just outrageous potential for us to be happy. If you want to see heaven on earth, try turning to that channel. Tune yourself to that channel. Spend some time, ingesting that. Because like I said, however you engage in these things is a form of ingestion. And if you want to really know the truth, then you have to, number one, look for it, ask the questions, and be open to the answers as they come to you. Be open to the experiences that challenge you to be uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable is something that I wasn't really used to, considering how stable I've always been. I've always had this, I went to school, I transferred up, went up to school, and climbed up the ladder and got a degree, 20 years, whatever. Doesn't matter. No matter how accomplished I considered myself to be, I was also living in a box. I was living in a box, and I knew I was in a box. Even though I couldn't really see the box, I knew I was in there. And that's God tethering, thank you. That's our emotional guidance, letting you know something's off, like a spidey sense. So, we all have the opportunity to get outside of our box, get outside of ourselves, and I found the most rewarding, and it's really just, I don't really know how to put any words to it, rewarding and gratifying experiences that I could possibly have is knowing who I'm connected to, who we're all connected to, you know, fostering the mindset that honors those things, honors those connections, honors the God in each of us, recognizing that we came here to have an experience and to learn and expand even further. And we learn from each other and ourselves constantly. And, you know, now that my lens is adjusted, now I can see what it is that I have to offer and what it is I have to learn on a day-to-day basis, moment by moment, really. We are really equipped with everything. We have everything we need right inside of us. And each of us has our own unique divine plan. It's not about consensus. It's not about statistics. It's not about grouping people together and check this box and tell me which of the four you are, because that's not a thing. That's not a thing. Even when we label people like, oh, I'm African American, I have no idea what other things or other components. Why would I just say that? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just dismissive of so many things that we have yet to be able to discover about ourselves based off of how we identify ourselves. You know, yeah, that's just it. I'm not going to be like, oh, let me think about the fact that I'm a woman before I go into this important opportunity and I'm going to demand. Like, no, I trust and believe that I'm equal to